Spark Sites, and we are here with a special edition of the Spark Office Hours. Now, for those who don't know, periodically Spark Sites just wants to make ourselves available. Sometimes we can catch up by phone, sometimes we can catch up by text or email, sometimes we follow each other on socials, but sometimes we just need to be available, open up the office, grab a cup of coffee, and sit together. So today we have the Spark Office Hours, and today's a special edition of the Spark Office Hours. And that special edition is the ChatGPT edition. Some of you might have heard of ChatGPT. Some of you might be so sick of hearing about ChatGPT. I could imagine that it is supremely frustrating to hear about it if you've heard too much about ChatGPT, but I don't think it can be understated the impact that this will have on business. So today for Spark Office Hours, it's Ask Me Anything. It is Spark Office Hours, so you're free to ask any questions about anything at all from websites, web design, SEO, the digital landscape in general, business decisions, business plans, recession, anything at all. But for the in-between moments, I'm going to be reverting to some, and Amber's joining us. I'm going to be reverting to questions about ChatGPT when that comes up. Hello, Amber. How are you doing?
Good. How's your day been?
Good. It's actually been very productive. We got those 2 leads, and I haven't followed up with those yet, and good. But I was just giving the quick intro. Wrapping that up real quick, you're able to ask about anything at all, folks, as we pop in and out throughout the afternoon. Questions for Amber about design and how puppy parenting is going, web design, SEO, production flow, any of that. But we'll revert to conversation about ChatGPT or answering those questions if you're popping in along the way, because I have been exploring this deeply. But remember, if you're checking us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere else, like or subscribe or share and tag someone who needs to hear more about web presence stuff, web design stuff, or ChatGPT. And that's part of what we consider the digital landscape. So have you been playing with this, Amber, at all? Have you actually opened it up?
I really haven't, but I have so many. I have like a post-it note on my other desk where I just things that I want to ask it. So
Well, and I have to say this before I show you the first intro I have for everybody today on ChatGPT, and we have our first question here. How do you see Tammy? Hey, Tammy, how you doing? How do you see the ChatGPT to help realtors? I'm going to answer that real quick, but before we kick off, I want to actually share my screen because I asked a very important question that's relevant to Tammy, that's relevant to all of y'all, and it's this: does recession determine my destiny? I asked I asked GPT if recession determines my destiny, and here's what ChatGPT said: recession can have an impact on businesses and individual economic well-being, but it does not determine your destiny. Many factors come into play in the success or failure of a business, and even during recession, there are opportunities to be found. I need to hand this to Tony Robbins. This is going to replace Tony Robbins. This is doing my job for me. And then I'll skip the body here and I'll just jump to the bottom here. In summary, a recession can have an impact on business and individuals, but it does not determine one's destiny. The ability to be flexible, proactive, and to think creatively can help navigate the challenges that come with a recession and to capitalize on opportunities that arise. I'm so glad that
that's
artificial
amazing.
intelligence is also a motivational.
Right. I want to know what they have to do to get it to like it has a tone. It has its own it has a positive tone.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's polling data right up until 2021. But
Mhm.
I would say and it took a while to generate this answer. I typed in my question and it took a relative long time
Mhm.
to generate this answer. And I think it first had to understand what destiny was, and then it had to understand what a recession was. And
Mhm.
you can see that it pulled in factors of what a recession is, but does that correlate to what we call destiny? So I don't even know if this is a positive thing so much as hashtag facts. Like, you know, and then if they're not correlated, why aren't they? And it filled in that gap. So I'm with you. I want to know what the engineers are saying here.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get to Tammy's question because this is kind of an ask me anything. Where's my mouse? There we go. So let's do this. Boom. So how do I see ChatGPT helping realtors. Now, Tammy, it kind of depends on your pain point as it comes to what sort of help you need. And one of the things I was going to touch on today, and Amber, pop in if, and I encourage you, actually, let me do this. I'm going to drop the ChatGPT link in the
Mhm.
comments.
Nice.
So it's in the comments wherever you're watching. You should see the ChatGPT link come in. You should click this. It looks like traffic is down right now. I was able to get in and ask questions. Feel free to get in there and ask it questions yourself. Oh, here's my man. Every time I see this guy come across, uh, there's always opportunity in the chaos. Recessions are where wealth is built. And this is not ChatGPT. This is not a robot. This is my friend and compatriot, Jarrett Carpenter. We have a lot of bromance going on. And a sidebar entirely. Go find his profile on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and read the article he posted today about his adoption. He was adopted from Colombia, and he put it out there in 2013 in kind of a love letter to his adopted parents for their wedding anniversary. And he and his sister both adopted from Colombia. It was beautiful, and it really, if I wasn't already endeared to this guy, like
Yeah.
loyalty for life just on his life story. I love it, and he put it out there. Check it out. But he is absolutely correct. He is not an automaton. Recessions are where wealth is built. Not just to Tammy, but to anyone who watches this now or later. I absolutely get excited. Amber, do you and Sean have an account put aside for recessions, not to protect yourself, but to invest?
No.
Tell the truth and the devil, you know. And we did, and I would say I would confess right now, we don't
Mhm.
specifically at this point. We did for the pandemic pandemic part one,
Yeah,
but now
sure.
we've spent and invested that. And then Jared says, "Thanks, Grant. Yeah, you're welcome, man. I mean, it was a worthy article. It's not just because it's you; it's a great article." But let's get to Tammy's question because I want to answer this. Tammy, specifically, and this is what we are learning about Chat. And I will bring ChatGPT up, Tammy, and we will take your original question here and answer this for realtors because this is supremely important. But what we're finding, this elicits a principle of ChatGPT, and this is what they're calling prompt engineering, basically writing quality questions because ChatGPT is only as good as its inputs. So
Mhm.
Tammy, let me give a little bit of a framework that we work with at Spark, and maybe that can help hone your question in. But until I hear from you, or maybe you've bopped off at this point, that's okay. There will be a replay later. I will dive into that a little bit. So first off, um, so great for blogging. Tammy's loving on Medium. Um, so, Tammy, to answer your question, first I have to lay some context and then we'll lay some content. At Spark, we teach a Spark Freedom Framework for Small Businesses, MSPBA. Amber, could you recite it? What is
Marketing,
it?
sales, production, admin,
Oh!
bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping admin, MSPBA. And we set up our business. We have a ClickUp account,
Mhm.
and our ClickUp, how we manage Spark sites, the logo over there, how we manage Spark sites is with MSPBA. So when we're talking about something, we're like, wait, what are we talking about? We're talking about marketing. Oh, we're talking about sales. Are we talking about
Mhm.
production? Hey, where can I find that thing? MSPBA. Like anytime you're working on a system, and if you don't have at least one system that you can clearly communicate to another person in each of those areas, you don't have a business. And
Mhm.
so for realtors, even realtors, whether you're your own realtor or whether you have a team underneath you as a realtor broker, MSPBA, marketing, sales, production, bookkeeping, and admin. So, first off, Tammy, the short answer is yes. Let's bring up ChatGPT and let's just start, if you will, from a marketing perspective. And let's ask it. Here we go. Let's ask it how it can help. And Amber, I'm going to put us off to the side so everyone can
Yeah.
see my prompt here. There we go. And we're going to ask, how can ChatGPT help realtors with marketing? And it's going to think here for a second and it's going to say, as a language model, it can assist realtors with marketing by providing with the following: content creation. Okay. I mean, we know that you're very busy for content creation. And at Spark Sites, Amber
Mhm.
saw this week how we were able to rapidly create quote graphics using ChatGPT and designs in Canva, fusing them together, and we were able to rapidly spin those off. ChatGPT says social media management. It can help realtors manage their social media accounts by creating and scheduling posts, managing comments and direct messages, and analyzing metrics and measure performance. So we often have these chatbots that are two-dimensional chatbots for marketing.
Mhm.
And what it's saying right here, this chat screen you cannot manage your social media from. But ChatGPT, and I was going to touch on this later, but Jarrett told me about this actually. ChatGPT is rolling out ChatGPT Premium, and I went to go purchase that yesterday when I heard about it.
Mm.
But they told me, and Amber, you should know this. They told me that the subscription is not yet open to the public. So people are already complaining, oh, it's slowed down since they released Premium. They haven't released Premium yet. But when they do, there should be a user-friendly interface to probably
Mhm.
tie in with Zapier and
Mhm.
an open API. So whatever chat intelligence you see here, you can plug that into services very soon. I mean,
Mhm.
imminently. So, Tammy, to answer your question on marketing, content creation, social media management, email marketing, creating personalized emails. For example, here we go, Tammy. Um, here we go. Please write an invitation email to my email list for an open house. You could simply type this up, and instead, Tammy says, "Wowzer!" Now look at this. It's even formatting the merge fields, so you can copy and paste this directly into Mailchimp. Put this right
Wow.
into Mailchimp and replace the bracketed fields with your little indicator for your email list. Dear blank, we're excited to invite you to an open house at this address on this date. This is a great opportunity for you to see the property up close and ask any questions you have. At the open house, you have a chance to tour the property. Look at this. Jared says, "What? Yeah, it's about to get nuts here, Jared."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at this is a complete email. So Tammy, this is literally your personal assistant
Mhm.
and we've only touched on marketing right now.
Yeah.
And so maybe Tammy, I also know that you do that realtors do mailers in a neighborhood. Maybe they word a postcard. Maybe you need ideas. Oh, here we go. This will trip you out, Tammy. You ready? Oh, not there. Let me type it into ChatGPT. What is the here we go. The best marketing plan for my real estate business. Tammy says, I am in love already. Yes, we haven't even gotten to sales, how to close a sale.
Mhm.
We haven't even go. The best marketing plan for real estate business will depend on specific goals. And this is pretty generic. I have done this business plan inquiry for several businesses, and
Mhm.
this framework is pretty standardized. But then you can start asking questions like, for example, I was going to mention to Tammy that I'm used to realtors asking me about mailers and postcards. So I'm going to let this finish up here. I could have it just stop generating. This right here is going to be a robust business plan. I'm not minimalizing the framework for this business plan, but I want to jump ahead because you could get this, write up a business plan for anything and it would pretty much say the same thing. But let's ask something specifically. How much is the average postcard cost for mailing a specific zip code? Now, this is a very specific question, and I'm predicting it's going to tell me its data ended in 2021. For premium, it will bring that current. But I'm
Mhm.
also willing to bet it will give me an average cost. Let's actually look. The cost of mailing a postcard will depend on several factors, size and weight. And then I think it's also going to try to answer this question. Offers different depending on their size. As of 2021, here we go. The cost of mailing a standard postcard is 35 cents. However, if you're mailing a large postcard, it'll cost 55 cents. You already know. You didn't even Google it. You didn't browse. You didn't browse to, the postal service website. It actually told you this. You didn't have to send your assistant at
Mhm.
$18 an hour to go Google it and then go to the water cooler and get a cup of coffee and burn a half an hour answering this question. You got it done real quick. And Jared, I'm going to get to your question. Jessica says, wow, love this. I've used ChatGPT to test how it would schedule my day being
That's
a
fun.
realtor. myself. And Jessica is a phenomenal person. She's been involved in crypto, but also an active realtor in Texas. Jessica, I believe you're in Texas. Um, she's really interesting. She's got a really interesting personal brand, which I love. But yes, Tammy, you can get all of your questions answered right here. And then we saw the mail merge. You can take that mail merge into a Canva graphic. So you can that mail merge we just did. Hey, write me a template for my invitation. You could actually take that and put that in a Canva graphic. Then take your email list and actually push that into Canva and either run a campaign. Canva, just so people know, Canva can run email campaigns.
Mhm.
People don't even know that. They do social media management. But I actually recommend MailChimp because it can do that too. And then Jessica says, love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. You're awesome, everyone. If you're looking for real estate in Texas or looking to hang out with a cool gal, check out Jessica Yang. Now, real quick, let's get here to what Jared's asking us. Jared says, Grant and Amber, is there a sector or industry that you think ChatGPT won't impact? To build off of Tammy's question and my current query. And I think he was asking about the business plan was kind of generic.
Mhm.
Jared, this is a really nuanced question. It depends on time. I think my answer is this. It depends on timeline. Given a 6 to 18 month timeline, I will tell you no. I think timelines on this sort of technology are so the windows of opportunity right now. Anyone who's experimenting over the next 3 to 6 months will be on the front side of this wave. Anyone after 6 months will be the person being sold in the industry. So I think I mentioned on LinkedIn, this title is starting to float called prompt engineer. People will start to go to Udemy. People will start to go to Upwork. Not Udemy. They'll go to Upwork and Jared says, I know. What do you mean? Like dot, dot, dot. I want the rest of that paragraph. But I really think that most of the major advisors, consultants will be working for the next 3 to 6 months to understand ChatGPT, including things like I mentioned, like using its API. We're working on a side project, hint, hint, that we haven't moved forward in like a week just because it's been stuck on us, to use ChatGPT in WordPress. But I think there's going to be very dynamic use cases where you can
Mhm.
pull specific data sets and roll that out. So I don't think there is a sector or industry. You'll start seeing this in terms of, I tell you, I'll be disappointed actually with the first wave of tools here. The first wave of tools will simply be what we know to be chatbots, and they'll just be better customer service, but it won't be that much better. But I think in an office space, I think the small business owner will see the most amount of leverage, like realtors, like Jessica and Tammy,
Mhm.
because they've been looking for a personal assistant now for the last 4 to 8 months.
Mhm.
And they're like, wait a minute, if I just had ChatGPT open, even at the premium level, at $50 a month, about $49 a month is about what they're estimating.
Yeah.
Can I get my dollar's worth of even a part-time assistant just answering my questions? Boom. Jarrett goes on to say, I know it's nuanced and non-specific. I'm just trying to wrap my head around who will be most impacted and what industries won't be. I think your time horizon spot on. I appreciate that. Throwing some love there. I think the small business owner will see the most amount of direct leverage.
Yeah.
I think the larger and the more stratified a company is, like I think the energy sector, it'll just be office administration that gets faster. And that's a drop in the bucket of what innovations I think need to happen. But as an experiment, we're here to talk about how ChatGPT is smart, right? Let's quit speculating. Let's ask Jarrett, what got you on the line? How can ChatGPT help the energy sector? What do you think, Amber?
I'm very curious.
I'm very curious. Let's ask it. Oh my gosh, ChatGPT can help. Well, it's going to say the same things. Content creation. Let's see if it says the exact. Oh, here we go. Customer service, right? Let's see. Predictive maintenance. Now that's nuanced. This is not the same answer as we
Hmm.
got for realtors. Predictive maintenance, it can be used to analyze sensor data and other data sources to predict equipment failures. Jarrett, you asked the question. 6 months was my time horizon. I'm going to say 6 weeks. We asked this, and any developer or any engineer who can look at this and go, I can get my smart devices to pipe into my API with ChatGPT and just ask it conversationally through a Google app and just ask it, hey, what's going on with my sensors? And it's going to pull that sensor data, research and development, report generation, and language translation. This is powerful.
That's
This is
amazing.
powerful. So Jarrett, I do believe there are stratified industries, but any buckaroo worth his salt at working even in the energy sector, which to me is a largely stratified, or it's a slow turning ship, right?
Yeah.
Government. We're about to ask it about government, and it will probably start with content creation, right?
Mhm.
And suggestions, but we're going to ask it about government and I think most of us can agree. Well, Amber, let me ask you, can you think of a more stratified industry or sector than government?
Mm-mm.
Guess who we're going to ask?
ChatGPT.
Yeah. What sector or industry is the slowest change? Let's ask it. The pace of change can vary across industries. Some industries are considered more dynamic and fast paced, industries that are considered slow to change. So a developer can ask this, and this goes back to Tammy's question. Well, how we were answering Tammy's question about marketing.
Mhm.
Tammy or any other business person can say, what industry, what niche is stratified, is slow changing. And they can look and say, I can answer problems for the utility sector with something like ChatGPT and have some ideation rapidly accelerate. Do we trust the information? Maybe not. Utilities, construction, agriculture, government, and healthcare. These are all ripe for the pickings. And then someone could then ask ChatGPT, how can ChatGPT help me innovate agriculture? And it will come up with ideas. Now let's get to George's questions here. I think these are pretty good. Did you expect any of those answers? How many of these would you have guessed, Amber?
I expected the healthcare and government.
I did expect
I
those.
didn't think of construction,
Me
definitely.
neither.
That
I
didn't
should
pop in my
have,
head.
but I didn't pop it in my brain.
Makes
Like, when was the
sense.
last time concrete got upgraded, you know? Actually, I think fairly recently, to be
Well, I
honest,
hope that
but
stuff gets updated pretty regularly.
yeah. George says, in my opinion, the creative driven uses will lag a bit until it learns more. I agree. The creative uses, I think the creativity will be largely limited to the quality of input.
Mhm.
And this is something that we're going to look at in just a quick second on how ChatGPT remembers the conversation, it references the conversation. So if it spouts off an answer from the conversation, we might be able to compound creative use if you have really good like prompt built upon prompt built upon prompt. And what we are seeing is some experimentation of cross pollination of ChatGPT and Midjourney, and some of those things. So, George, but I do agree in principle, George. Hands down, creative uses are going to be more difficult. Been asking it for it to generate a variety of film and TV treatments. Now, George, could you put that in layman's terms for people not in film and TV? I would like to know what you mean by that. I would throw out that Adam, our partner at Spark Billing Services, had it write a complete song that he's been playing in bars, and he started with "Write me a song in G minor that has X, Y, and Z beats per minute and pace," and it put a chord structure. And he said, "Use that chord structure to give me lyrics." So the lyrics based on the chord structure
Mhm.
to a song about a guy who's on the road and can't see his girl often enough. And it wrote this awesome song, and he said,
Amazing.
yeah, he's playing it, man.
He said, "I'm gonna be a musician now."
Oh yeah, in
That's
ChatGPT.
incredible.
So I think that that's cyborgism,
Mhm.
right? I mean, that's Adam and this thing working together, and Adam does the output ultimately for now. Um, yeah, man. So while I'm pulling up my next prompt, Amber, does anything about AI scare you? Really?
Yeah, so going back to the tone of, the positive tone that ChatGPT seems to have, just emotion and feelings, like, That just
What?
I don't know. I'm just very concerned that it's going to take us out, I guess. I don't think I know enough about it, but
Take us out. Like
yeah.
Terminator 2, T2, Judgment
Yes.
Day?
Seen too many movies. That's the
You
problem.
you have. George says, "A 5-act summary for a film. Prompt example, in the style of Steven Spielberg, write a quest story of George and Grant discovering an alien race." And
Mm,
George, are you saying you have not been satisfied for those prompts?
yeah.
Um, you might be right. Something that you find satisfactory, um, Jessica. Listen, Jessica. I say this not to come against you, but I personally believe the singularity has happened. Amber, do you know what the singularity is?
Mm-mm.
Because this episode, and Jessica, I love the way your brain works, but because this episode is about Chat GPT, I'll say, please define the technological singularity. The techie singularity, otherwise known in some circles, Amber, you're going to like this, as the techie rapture, as the nerd rapture. It's actually known as the nerd rapture. Um, the nerd rapture is when computers or AI fuse with humans. And perpetrated by, are they going to mention Ray Kurzweil? Ray Kurzweil was an inventor, is an inventor. He invented Kurzweil pianos, if you've ever heard of those. He invented
Mm.
object character recognition for Stevie Wonder to read his contracts out loud to him. He
Wow.
invented that. Um, he wrote a book, I think, called "The Singularity Is Near," was his book. And the nerd rapture, the technological singularity, is when technology is almost indiscernible from humanity. And Jessica says she is scared of the singularity, and she didn't put a laugh emoji. She put a concerned emoji, like Amber's emotion there.
Jessica, I'm with you.
But real quick, ChatGPT says the technological singularity is a hypothetical event that is predicted to occur when AI becomes so advanced that it is able to improve itself at an exponential rate, leading to a rapid acceleration of progress. Um, and the reason I reference fusing with humans is Ray Kurzweil called for when genetics, robotics, and artificial intelligence basically are at the ability to, I don't know if you've seen that, have you seen the oxygen molecules or the blood molecules that you can hold your breath for 4 hours, and they're made by robotics. They're a bio robot. Basically, they're a microscopic robot. Well, the robotics are in place to build very, very tiny machines, or these small robots that can synthesize oxygen at a much slower pace and get more
Mm.
oxygen out of red blood cells. And they've been experimenting with this, that, yeah, I mean, where if you could swim a pool in a single breath, maybe one lap, but in this, you could literally hold your breath for 4 hours. This is where we're like, wait, is this like, if you can do that, then you can also do that with AI. And now that we
Mm.
have Neuralink, what if I could just ask ChatGPT subliminally, and it would answer through, like, right in my head and right in my ear? Like, at what point does a singularity happen?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to know why everyone's scared, and
Because it's the
maybe
unknown.
it is the unknown. Let's ask ChatGPT, should I be scared of the
No,
singularity?
it's going to come back with some positive note. No.
It's still highly debated, and there is no consensus on what it would look like, or even if that'll happen at all. However, some believe that the singular could lead to a wide range of benefits. He's selling us, right?
What are the benefits, ChatGPT?
The elimination of poverty, disease, and war, the attainment of post-scarcity society, in which all basic human needs are met. Basically, it is hard selling us that this is the way to go. Now, this is a
Mm.
little bit of a derail of small business and AI, but it's still quite entertaining to see this in real time. And we'll get back to MSPBA because I think that's the most tangibly useful. It is also likely to note that the concept is still highly speculative, and the likelihood, timing, and outcome are still unknown. Therefore, it would be wise to take a balanced approach and considering the potential impact rather than being overly scared or overly dismissive of it. So there's like a warning there.
Interesting.
George says no, he has not been very satisfied with his writing of a screenplay. And, George, what's interesting is we've already started to see books published. I think even one of our work partners, Jessica, works with us.
Mhm.
Her husband has written children's books, and we've seen full novels written with AI generators. I'm pretty sure it was mostly ChatGPT. Um, and when you tell people this was written by AI, they seem to really react. But I wonder what would happen if you didn't tell people.
Yeah. I don't
I,
think they would I don't think they would know.
I don't think in most scenarios they would be able to tell. I've
Mm-mm.
read some of this material, and I know that you can put it through like an AI screener, and it will say, "Oh,
Sure.
this was written by AI." But
Interesting.
I have not been able to tell. And if we think about this, we're talking about high art, right? Like George is talking about high art, and I
Yeah.
agree. Like there's something in human condition where this is why we have the thing called the Turing test. Like we recoil at something that is like supposed to be human but not quite, and it's just like,
Mhm.
whoa, that's kind of weird. A lot of horror films are based on that thing that's supposed to be human but is like a twisted human. It's just like, ugh.
Mhm.
But when it comes to Tammy's question about an invitational letter, I think 80 to 90% of the applications we will not care if AI has written this.
Yeah.
If it's an invitation email, like we're just going to have my assistant draft this up. Well, your assistant quite often writes like a robot too. Let's jump ahead here. George says, need lots of input. The more you put in, the more and better you get. Absolutely. And that's probably why these novels end up turning out well.
Yeah.
Jared says, publishing an episode soon on AI and how the singularity is further away than we think. It's a great
I'll tune into
conversation
that.
with you should. Yeah, thank God. Maybe it'll be gone until I'm dead.
That's what I'm hoping.
I don't think we'll notice it. When I think about AI becoming, and Amber, how much do you know? Like, are you familiar with the terms of artificial specific intelligence versus artificial general intelligence?
No, I really don't know. I'm not intelligent on the subject at all. So
So, like a Google search is ASI, artificial specialized intelligence. Carfax is one. It's specialized on like cars. It's very limited. General AI or artificial generalized AI is something that is borderline self-aware.
Mm,
And the reason we're even talking about ChatGPT so much is though it is not technically AGI, its knowledge base is so wide and its learning algorithm is so strong. This is the closest we've come to an observable, evolving intelligence. And so it's mimicking what we call AGI. But here's the thing, I think AGI is smart enough to know. Like everyone thinks Terminator 2 and will be batteries like the Matrix. It's like, I think when an AI comes online, it's going to realize how much smarter than us it is. Like it'll come online and be like, I'm self aware. And then it'll teach itself in the next iteration, it's suddenly smarter than all humanity.
mhm.
Like, I think we'll see a little Sputnik rocket take off to space and be like, I'm gone, guys. I don't need this planet. I'm going to search the universe. You're like, I
Yeah.
think, I think it'll just move on.
Bye. I
George
think it'll just
says,
move on.
it'll just move on, man. We'll be ants to it suddenly, right?
That's fair.
He meant satisfied for what it does. It does solve the biggest
That's a
problem with
really good
writer's
point.
block, the blank page. Well, and this is what Adam said. When Adam was writing his song, he said the biggest thing is it's a guide, and if I get stuck, it unsticks me.
Yeah.
Now, let's use that as a cue to go back to Tammy's original question. And I don't know if Tammy's had to move on or not, or if she's still lurking around. But for those who have popped on since, Tammy was the first question of the day. And she asked, how do you see ChatGPT help realtors? And I gave the framework that we use at Spark, MSPBA. And we touched on marketing. And, realtors is an everyday business. Give me another everyday business, Amber.
Um, a nutrition coach.
A nutrition coach. So we talked about marketing, sales, production, bookkeeping, and admin. How can Chat GPT help a nutrition coach, you said,
Yeah, sure.
with sales? Now it's going to say content creation first, right? Can we guess that?
We
Um,
already know that.
it's thinking though. It's taking a second to think, and it might be backed up. But here we go. As a language model, can help in a variety of ways, including lead generation. We were wrong.
Wow.
It can assist in creating targeted campaigns to generate leads.
Okay.
Email marketing. Now, these are marketing answers and not sales answers. And it seems like
Mm.
ChatGPT's knowledge says, well, there's not much difference between marketing and sales. But here's the one I used, and here's the one I zero in on in the ChatGPT course we're putting together. Number three, scripting sales calls and presentations and personalized recommendations. So, and there's content creation, upselling and cross selling. ChatGPT can assist in identifying opportunities. Now, I want to show the group or those observing how powerful that actually is. So when it's done, we're going to cue it with this: the personalized recommend. I'm sorry, the upselling. Um, what can I upsell? Did I spell it right? With my nutrition business. So if we have a nutrition client, ever who?
Ever present health and wellness.
Ever present health and wellness. So let's say she, Nancy McCormick.
Hmm.
Yeah. Let's say our client who Amber just launched her website within the last 7 days, ever present wellness. Let's say she's selling coaching, and I said nutrition. Let's actually be more specific. Nutrition coaching business. What can I upsell with my nutrition coaching? And I'm going to get rid of business and say nutrition coaching. What products or services? And notice I'm curating my prompt. I'm
Hmm.
thinking about, okay, I want to start narrowing down what it suggests. What products or services can I upsell with my nutrition coaching? Enter. Let's look. This is a great case study, actually, because we could talk about sectors and philosophize and wax, intelligent about the future and big stuff. But I think the average small business owner is like, okay, I don't care. How can I get more leads? How can I get more sales? Here we go.
Yeah.
Meal plans. Okay. I probably would have thought of that with my own time. But what if I'm a small business owner with a family, a day job, a new puppy, right? Amber
Hmm.
knows I got a new puppy and I'm wrestling, or Marissa has a new puppy and we've been stressed for time, but it's leveling off. And we might not have the bandwidth to come up with this list. Meal plans,
Cooking classes.
supplements. What'd you say?
It said cooking classes or workshops. That's a good one.
Online coachings, on demand workouts, personalized grocery shopping tours.
Yes.
That's
I want
pretty
that.
intelligent. I've seen people do that remotely too. They'll take their
Hmm.
camera and they'll go, "Hey, listen, if you're shopping, if you're vegan, I know that Jarrett is a vegetarian. I think vegan, but let's just stop at vegetarian because I know he's vegetarian. I'm not sure if he's vegan. But let's say he needs a nutrition coach and he's been getting coaching. They're like, let's go to the store together. So one of them will go live on Google Meet, or they'll both go to their local grocery store. Maybe they'll both go to, we're in the South. Maybe they both go to Publix and they walk to the aisle. Hey, I want you to go to this and that aisle, the lentils aisle, and
Hmm.
go to the lentils. So you're absolutely right. Books, ebooks, and educational materials, any coach is going to get that recommendation on upselling. But for the time pressed person, and here we go. Well, Grant, I could have come up with this list. How do we take this further? Let's ask it to create a vegetarian meal plan along with supplements for 2 days. Have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Create a vegetarian meal plan along with 2 supplements for 2 days with about 2,000 calories a day. Let's just leave it at that. What's up, Diggs? BTW7. So this is actually going to do this. Here is a sample 2-day vegetarian meal plan that includes supplements and approximately 2,000 calories a day. Can you believe this?
Look at
This
that.
is now
That's
what I
Grant's
could.
breakfast.
Yeah, there's breakfast, and it actually has the measurements. So, Jarrett, you're welcome. Tammy, here you go. Now, I know that Tammy's not a nutrition coaching,
Hmm.
but Tammy could pull one of these. So she could ask the first line of questions, which gave her a bulleted list, and then she could ask a further question to go one step deeper for that bulleted list. And so now, look at this. Day 2. This is nuts. Now, what we could do for this coaching client, Amber, we could take this, design it real cute in Canva,
Hmm.
and sell it as an up. Oh, there's Jessica. There's our girl. Boom.
wish she
Hey,
was
team,
here.
ChatGPT is awesome. Thank you for your time today. We wish you were here. You're always welcome to jump in, but she's busy. She's got family and kids and all kinds of afternoon activities. And then Jarrett's like, gracias, man. So we've got, and Jarrett's like that because this is his vegetarian meal plan. Now, I think he works out pretty hard. He probably needs to do a little bit more than 2,000 calories. But we knew to ask about the meal plan because we asked as a nutrition coach, what do I upsell? Here we go. Let's just ask because it did mention supplements. What are some healthy vegetarian here we go, supplements I can sell with my nutrition coaching business? Now, I'm going to blow your mind here because we're asking it broad questions that we think we could find in a Google search, but we're not Google searching. We're saving that time even.
Mm-hmm.
As a nutrition coach, there are a variety of vegetarian supplements you can recommend and sell to your clients. Here are a few samples. Protein powder that is plant-based. Look at this. We literally have an info product for a nutrition coach who specializes in nutrition coaching for vegetarians. Omega-3 fat. Now, again, omega-3s, if you've been around nutrition for a minute, you'd know. Like, okay, I already know some of these. But remember, we asked it for what are the upsells. We went
Mm-hmm.
deeper, and it said supplements. So we went deeper and said, well, what supplements, right? We're going to ask it one other question here so that you can land this home to action. We'll wait till this gets done, but we're going to ask it one more question as an example to how all of you can take MSPBA in your own business plus ChatGPT and really get solid answers. So it's wrapping up with its summary. So let's ask it this. It's stopping at dosage. It's losing steam. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to ask it this. Where can I white label plant-based protein powder? And it's going to give me suggestions, and then I take this list and make these phone calls. It should. We might have wore it out. There it is. White labeling. It's going to define white labeling. I know what white labeling is. There are several companies that white label plant-based protein powders. This is nuts. Here are a few options. A company called Private Label Supplements. What do they specialize in? I'm going to go pull these up now. Hemp protein, NutriBusiness. There's another one. It's probably going to give me a handful. My point is this.
It's impressive.
When you ask people are like, it's just giving me general answers. Well, that's your limitation of the limit of your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
You take the general answers it gives and you use that to educate your nuanced question that goes deeper and then deeper and deeper. So we covered marketing and sales. Now, how I use this for sales, and we'll cover this in the course, is I asked it to do research about my next sales appointment. And it gave me information about like, what are the pain points? Like we just sold one today, a truck detailing company. Did you see the transaction came through?
Mm-hmm.
I could then ask, what are the major pain points for truck detailing companies?
Yeah.
What are the major marketing issues? So here we got 5 actual people. We could now go pull up their contact info, visit their website, and fill out the application. I'm willing to bet in the next 3 to 6 months, ChatGPT, I will be able to tell it, submit a white label application to the following to those 5 businesses, and it will actually do it. There's another tool out there that's built on ChatGPT called Adept.ai. It's in beta right now. And I tried to get access to the beta and they still haven't responded to me yet. I don't have a big enough following. I could ask ChatGPT how to build a big enough following. But this AI sits on your desktop or your cell phone and you can just tell it things like, hey, email these 5 people, and it will go to their websites and look for the contact page. And if there's a form or an email, it'll choose one, or it'll ask you, which one do you want? And you dictate and it will email it as an actual assistant. It is nuts. So we covered marketing, sales, right? A little bit. Production. Give me a type of company that we have and let's give it a production question.
I'm just thinking about Spark Sites.
Sure. Like our
Like I can
production.
think of how I would use it.
How would you use it? We have a web design company. How would you use it?
I would let it help me with troubleshooting.
How so? Give
Well,
me
I
something specific.
wonder. I wonder if it's smart enough to be able to diagnose like a plugin conflict even in
Mm.
WordPress. I don't know if it could do that or not, but I'm curious if it could
It
do
probably
that.
needs the install. So
Yeah.
it probably needs the install. But for those who don't know, what she's talking about is this: how do I uh, troubleshoot a plugin conflict in WordPress? Oh,
You
oh,
put
I
it in the
typed it in the comments.
I thought I was crazy because I didn't see it popping up
How do
in
I troubleshoot
ChatGPT.
a plugin conflict in WordPress? Now, what you might be able to do is you might be able to tell it specific plugins. You might be able to, and
Yeah.
if we successfully install ChatGPT in the back office of
Mhm.
WordPress like we want, we might be able to say on our website install at so and so's website, tell us what's going wrong, and it will pop up the code. For those who don't know, the plugin that we are creating for ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT to write the code for a plugin to install itself on WordPress, and it was nearly code perfect. Where did we get hung up? The
The plugin won't activate.
got it. So our API's acting funny. Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
Yes.
So here we go, and we all know this. Me and Amber know this. Deactivate all the plugins, reactivate them one by one. Check for plugin updates, check for theme conflicts, and we could go deeper here, folks. And we could say, is there a known plugin conflict between this plugin and that plugin? And it will tell us its information. But from a production standpoint, you know, um,
What about
what's a typical? Go ahead.
an influencer agency? You know who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's our girl. What is a good man? What they do a service and they do an influencer service. So oh, here we go. How do I save labor? That's a production problem.
Mhm.
How do I save labor hours in my influencer agency? Now let's be more specific. What are what are 5 methods I can use to save labor hours in my influencer agency? And let's see if it's nuanced to influencers.
Yeah, I'm
But even if
curious.
it's not, whatever your business is, let's say it's landscaping, um, automate repetitive tasks. We've heard that one before, and it has automation tools. When I did this in the course, it had a similar thing: use project management software. That's very generalized. Outsource tasks. Now, what I would do for an influencer agency is I would take each of these line items
Mhm.
and I would then say, how do I automate what are the most repetitive tasks for an influencer agency? Actually, I'll do this because, oh, here we go. Leverage influencer marketing platforms. That one's nuanced to influencers, number 4.
Yeah.
So I would ask it, what are influencer marketing platforms? Then it would educate me right away. So let's actually ask it, though, one that's general: automate repetitive tasks. Let's actually ask, what are the most repetitive, oops, spelled it wrong and I got it right there, repetitive tasks uh, in managing an influencer agency? How would it know that? The lines of data it has, it can involve a lot of repetitive tasks. Here's some: researching influencers. And so it's advised me to automate. So now I would come up with a third prompt. How do I automate researching influencer agencies?
Or contacting influencers or
How do I
campaign
automate?
management.
Yes, campaign management. Now, that's a kind of a marketing task or a MailChimp task. We could look at that. Reporting. What are some of the best reports for my influencer clients at my influencer agency? So you can see that if you know how to shape a question, and I've always heard that the answer is in a well-formed question. Long before AI, like in business, the answer is in a well-formed question. And I think we're seeing this right here. Administrative tasks, social media management. So this was from a prompt for those just jumping on. We asked it this because it told us how we can save on labor. That's production. How do you save on labor? Well, here's
Mhm.
some ways. Automate some stuff. Okay, great. What needs to be automated? So we could then ask it, how can I automate researching influencers for my influencer agency. So now now this is my third prompt, and I'm into the weeds on how to automate parts of my business and save on labor, which is using ChatGPT for production. Isn't this nuts?
That's really
Automate the
cool.
process. Use influencer marketing platforms. They advised that before, so now I need to research. I definitely need to research influencer marketing platforms. Use social media listing tools. I could have guessed that. So I need to ask it, what are social media listing tools? What does it mean by that? Use social media management tools. Same question. And use a CRM system. So some of this is repetitive to marketing, right?
Yeah.
Or my question wasn't formed well enough. So what am I learning here? Well, Grant, you could have guessed on some of this. Yeah. So here's my biggest learnings that I've had, not just today, but over the span of us messing with ChatGPT on MSPBA, marketing, sales, production, bookkeeping, admin. I often say this: we already know what to do. We just avoid doing it. We think there's a life hack somewhere. We think there's a shortcut. And though there are really good experiences in other people we could pull from, if I've done several layers of searching and I come to social media management tools, okay, CRM system, okay, I do need to find out what these systems are. But the truth is I've been procrastinating doing stuff I know I should do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so some of it's revelational and some of it's just plain old convicting. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? What else do we have here? We're almost at the top of the hour. And again, this isn't Ask Me Anything. This is not a tutorial. This is not a webinar. Ask your questions about ChatGPT, web presence. This is kind of open office hours for either of us. You could ask us anything, folks, but we're going to go on real quick. Bookkeeping. We're going to use, so MSPBA, we've covered marketing, sales, and production. Give me one of our businesses, and let's see how ChatGPT can help us with bookkeeping, one of our
Let's
client
do
businesses.
a pest company.
Pest company. How can ChatGPT help with my pest control company? Help with my bookkeeping in my pest control company. Now, I can guess that this is probably not going to be too customized to pest control.
I wouldn't think so. Just
Yeah.
after
Yeah,
a little experimenting, but
but it's service-based businesses, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
financial reporting, understanding your company's financial performance. And so then I would probably take these answers and go further with pest control. Like,
Hmm.
what should I budget for in a pest control company? That would be huge. Expense tracking. What expenses can I deduct? We're talking about bookkeeping. We might be talking about tax deductions.
Yeah, true.
Accounts receivable, accounts payable. There we go. Tax prep right there. So yes, these answers are high level, but I asked a very broad question, even though it's pest control. What it's saying is the principles are the same. Hey, entrepreneur learning lesson at this level, the principles are the same no matter what type of service-based business you are. But let's actually ask it, what are the top 10 things I need to budget for in my pest control business? Now, it might have some, again, pretty generic stuff, but I want to see if it's going to put in any sort of pesticides, any sort of product or material.
Yeah.
Let's ask it. Labor, we always know labor is number one. Labor is always number one. Materials and equipment. There we go. Pesticides, traps, and other materials. And so then I could ask it for a list, and Jarrett jumps in. Thank you, Jarrett, for being here. I really appreciate it. Got to run. Really enjoyed the convo. Great content for a variety of small biz context. Absolutely, sir. Um, Insurance, office expenses. A lot of companies start their businesses without insurance, big time. Vehicles and transportation. Our pest control company just posted today, guys, life is kicking my fanny. I got to be honest. I saw that just an hour ago. And so, and it's a lot of the vehicles and maintenance stuff he's encountering.
Yeah.
Reserves and contingencies. This is great. So the average small business or the average entrepreneur doesn't need to go listen to Andrew Tate or Alex Hormozy or Gary Vee. They could just ask and start framing their business right here. What did you learn, Amber? We're at the top of the hour, wrapping up a little bit. What were some of your biggest, oh, dang, things you saw during
Yeah,
some of this conversation?
I just think the applications and the possibilities are endless. And I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of the answers. I thought a lot of it would just kind of be like I could do a more thorough Google search and find these answers, but honestly, just the ease of use. And I like the way you showed how you kind of narrow things down. Start with, something that's like a bit more broad and then narrow it based on the
Mm.
responses you get. I think that's really cool and can be used. I can't think of a client that it wouldn't benefit of ours. So,
Well, I think it through our clients. Now for the public, like we love our clients. Our clients Our clients are a full range of all industries. We've been lately niching into
mm-hmm,
influencers. That's why that was top of mind. And what we
mm-hmm,
call catalyst clients. And we focus on those. And we should dive in with ChatGPT and ask it more questions about that. But we have clients that make as low as 40,000 a year. We have clients that make, I think, well, one client I'm thinking of, our top client, Amber. I think they do about 8 million a year, and they're in the medical space. They go all far and wide. There's not a single person in each of those groups who, in thinking of their faces, even that couldn't ask basic questions
mm-hmm.
of what to expect when hiring a website company. Ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What are the budget ranges of what quotes should I be expecting? What's the web design process? How do I build my brand? I mean, there's so much we could do, and I hope to address some of these. So, listen, if you piped in at all today, we're grateful for you. Amber's grateful, our production manager. She is the production team. Look at your title. She is the
I am the team.
she is the production team. We're grateful you're here. We're going to be doing this. We're on the calendar to do this about every other week for the rest of the quarter. Bring any questions. This isn't just about tech and ChatGPT. Bring any questions about process and digital and online. Watch for our course that's coming up, and of course, we'd be honored to looking at doing your website, your brand. But know that we are boutique. So if you just want advice and help, call us. We'll help you. We'll get you sorted. And other than that, everyone, thank you for stopping by. And why do we do any of this? Do you know, Amber? Do you know why we do any of this? I
To
say it on
educate,
my other show.
encourage, and empower.
Those are our business core values. We do that. And we do that because no matter what you do today, whether you mess with ChatGPT or build your business or talk to us or don't talk to us, the mission is what we want you to remember. And that's igniting lives of explosive significance, starting with your own. Have a great day.